guys, I'm back. I have another spirit guide video for y'all today about how to better connect with your spirit guides. I'm going to give you 5 different ways that I learned how to better connect with mine over the years. And I feel like this is so important because a lot of people get lost or feel lost. They feel disconnected, they feel overwhelmed, and they think that it's this huge ordeal to try to connect with your spirits and that you have to do a whole ritual. That's not always the case, especially when it comes to your ancestors, because your ancestors share your DNA. So imagine how spiritually close that they are. They're pretty damn close, you know. Even if they elevate, there's an invisible cord connecting you, and the blood that runs through your veins ultimately connects to your ancestors. And that's why healing our generational trauma is so important and all of that. And the more that you heal, the easier it's going to be to connect. Because you have to remember, a lot of times when you're healing stuff, it's not just you that you're healing. Okay, and the more that we shed that negativity, this is why I'm so big on spiritual cleansing, because the more that we shed the negativity, whether it's from external stuff or internal, and we do our inner work, the easier it is to connect, because it's not weighing us down. It's not gunking up our aura anymore. Communication is clear from here to there, and all of that. Okay, I do have my iPad with my little notes, because I'm tired of getting distracted. Number 1 is strengthening your intuition through meditation. This is a big one, but if you have a Boveda or an ancestor altar, I do recommend meditating there, because as I said before, it is a form of protection to have that altar in place. So it's always good if you're going to be trying to go into trance, or you do fall into trance involuntarily when you're meditating. It's important to sit in front of that altar so that you kind of have their spiritual arms around you, and you can get their messages more clearly. But meditation is not the only way to connect with your intuition. It's a way to strengthen it, but ultimately following those little intuitive nudges, like you might have a sudden idea, like a creativity idea, or you might be driving one day and you have the urge or the nudge to go down a different road to get to where you're going. You never know what could happen. That could be a spirit guide of yours leading you there so that you meet your next romantic partner at a damn gas station that you stopped at along the way to your destination, on a road that you've never been before. All because you listen to your body and you listen to your intuition. That's how magical life can be when you make an effort to connect with these beautiful spiritual beings and God and your higher self. Like, they will do things like that for you. Same thing goes for protection. I always say, and this is kind of going off topic, y'all know how I am by now, okay? Whatever they want me to say, I'm going to say it. Same thing goes for protection, because you never know what you're being protected from. This is why if I'm late, or I forget something at home, or plans get canceled, or anything like that, I've learned over the years that you never know what you're being protected from. I'll never forget, this was a few years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago. I was driving to Charlotte, North Carolina, from Atlanta, and I don't know why I'm like this, but I like driving at night. I think it's because there's not as many people on the road, and I left to go to my TT's at like 11 p.m. or something, to get there around 2 or 3, and I was so hungry, y'all. So I go through a McDonald's, and I'm getting frustrated, because I'm sitting here, I'm like, it's 2:30 in the morning, and this McDonald's line is backed up. Okay, mind you, I was in the middle of a town that I didn't know where I was, and it was in the South, so just those little small towns in the South like that, especially at night, spiritually, they get very activated, so I'm already uncomfortable. So anyway, I get my McDonald's finally, and I'm about to pull off, and I watched the road that I came through and the road that I was going to have to go back onto. There was a crash. Ambulance and everything. Sirens, fire trucks, the whole ordeal. That could have, because the car was going this way. That could have been me. But by delaying my McDonald's order so that I didn't take that path at that time, that could have saved my life. You never know. So I'm giving you guys examples of how this can manifest in the physical. Okay, just because I followed my intuition, and that's not even my intuition, I was hungry. When I listened to my body instead of being like, oh, I can wait until I get to my TT's house. No. Girl, I got a damn cheeseburger. And of course, I stopped and I prayed for those poor people in that accident. And I was thankful that I was spared, And I think everybody ended up okay. But still, you never know. This is why it's very important to say your prayers when you get in the car. Number 2, developing a symbolic language. Ask your spirit guides to communicate with you through signs and symbols. These can be angel numbers. These can be totem animals, spirit animals, songs, smells. Something that happened to me one time is I was walking through my house one day and I just smelled coffee. And I don't drink coffee that much personally. So I'm doing math in my head. I'm okay, I don't drink coffee. I didn't make any coffee today. I live by myself. Somebody wants some damn coffee. So I sit with it for a minute, and they told me to give my ancestors and my spirit guides, they told me to give them a cup of coffee and to put a copy of this paperwork that had been delayed for me on top of the Boveda underneath the coffee and pray over it and ask them to use that quick, strong, efficient energy of the caffeine in the coffee, because caffeine is a stimulant, right? And plus the warmth of the hot coffee also represents speed, right? I needed this paperwork done. Sure enough, 3 days later, everything went in my favor. All because I followed how they were trying to communicate, which was a smell. Coffee. What else? How do they like to communicate? This goes for other spirits, not just mine. Okay? Smell is a big one. You might smell perfume. I know the Loa. A lot of times, if you smell a certain perfume, that can be them letting you know that they're around, or it can be a different spirit. But I have friends and stuff that also have the law, and we've all agreed that perfume is a big one for them. Same thing with tobacco smoke. What else? A certain type of food that they might want. They communicate how they see fit most of the time. And with angel numbers, everyone has a different understanding. So for me, 111 means whatever I'm starting new in that moment, whether it's a project or a relationship or a new better habit or something, I'm divinely supported. I love seeing angel numbers, especially when I'm having a certain thought. The angel number will just come to me and I'm it's like reassurance. But that's how mine communicate, one of the ways. So it's good to pay attention to stuff like that, because the more that you pay attention, the more they will take heed and communicate with you. If you keep brushing it off, you're not going to get very far. I'm not saying become a fanatic, but just be mindful, be conscious. Don't always be in the past or the future. Be present. Okay, number 3, working with divination tools. This is pretty self-explanatory. Before starting, set the intention and ask, say a little prayer that your benevolent spirit guides and ancestors and your guardian angel will give you the insight and clarity and communication that you need through the divination. Whenever I do divination, especially when I'm doing a reading for clients, I open with a prayer. I seal it. I seal my space, I seal the portals, I seal the session, the spiritual session. I stay in communication with them, okay? Divination is very helpful, especially if you're first starting out. I know a lot of elders that they've been doing this work for so long that they don't even need divination tools anymore. They can just read you like that. They'll just know, which is a beautiful gift. I still use tools. I have no shame in that. Some people knock it. I don't. I think it's a beautiful way to communicate with your spirits. Me personally, tarot cards is how I realized I was a medium. A strong medium. Because my daddy was coming through to give me some reassurance, because he had died a few months prior. And so now, when that certain tarot card comes up in a reading for me, I know that's him saying hi. In addition to what the tarot card by itself means, right? So, divination has helped me a lot. It's important to get to know what divination works for you. I love Paulo divination a lot of times because it's very straightforward. There's no... Can you get tricked and stuff? Absolutely. Just like with anything. If you're not doing things properly, if you're divining too much, or, not talking to the right spirit, or you don't have it consecrated, things like that, of course you can be misled. But for the most part, if you're trained well in Paulo divination, which I have to give props to my godparents for, they trained us very well. Paulo divination is one of the best, in my opinion, because the muertos, when they're cared for properly, and they're elevated, and you're elevated and stuff, that communication is beautiful, and it's clear, and that muerto, let me tell you something about muertos and Paulo. Girl, if they have a message for you, they're gonna get it through. They are very powerful, very big on communication, and obviously the closer that you become with them, the more intimately, emotionally, that connection becomes, because you get closer to them energetically, right? So, but it all started for me with divination. I'm getting there to where I don't need divination to communicate with my people anymore if I have a question. But a lot of times I do use it for confirmation. That's just how I do things. Okay, what's the next one? Ay, Dios mío, my iPad locked up. Okay, number 4, calling on them through ritual or prayer. Literally, all you need is a glass of water and a candle. No, my bed's not made. Mind your business. I'm wearing a princess dress. This one is from House of CB. I didn't buy it. Somebody got it for me. It's super cute. But I didn't make my bed. Duality. Calling on them through ritual and prayer is really important. A glass of water and a candle is all you need. Especially to talk to your Quadra Spiritual. That's all you need, girl. Prayer is so important and so transformative and helpful. And it doesn't have to be this long, drawn-out prayer. There have been times in my past when I was going through a very, very, very rough time. And I called on my guardian angel because I needed something very badly. And within 5 minutes, that thing came to me in the physical when I needed. I'll never forget that. In one of the darkest moments of my life. And there have been many times like that, where I called on my guardian angel, just said a quiet little prayer, not even out loud. Sometimes it's in my head. But that shows you how energetically close your guardian angel is. And that's why making that effort to communicate with them, especially through prayer, is important, because prayer is a holy thing. Whenever you're praying, God is present. But as much as I love sitting at my Bovada and doing my spoken prayers and speaking that goodness over the Bovada and making it a whole thing, for like an hour or whatever, which is not always necessary, okay? It's just something that I like to do. I love it. But I love my small, quick prayers too. So as long as it's from your heart, whatever manifestation it takes is fine. Even if you only have 5 minutes, set aside 5 minutes for them a day. And you can spread it out too, you don't always have to sit at your altar. Because I know some people are like, oh my God, I'm too busy, blah, blah, blah. Girl, you can pray when you're driving. Talk to God or your spirit guides when you're driving. What else are you going to do? You can listen to music, but sometimes I'd rather talk to my spirits. Same thing when I'm doing dishes. Like, if you're doing something and you're awake and you're conscious, you can pray. That's just my opinion. You have time to pray. Excuse me. It's very important. Just saying. Number 5, and this can be a hard one. Trust and act on the guidance that you receive. This one can be hard. Ask me how I know. I've gotten a lot better, but when I first started, I definitely had a hard time trusting the messages I was getting because I didn't trust myself. But the more that I, number 1, followed my intuition and things worked out in my favor, I built that confidence in myself to listen to the messages that I receive. And like I said, you can confirm with divination. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. There are going to be those times when you should just do what you're being led to do without needing confirmation, of course. But if that makes you comfortable, then do it. There's nothing wrong with divination at all. And that's how you learn to trust the messages that you receive, because you'll divine, get an answer, and that said answer will turn out to be the truth. And that also helps you build that trust with that spirit that you're doing the divination with. Because they're telling the truth. We don't welcome trickster spirits over here. No ma'am. I cannot tell you guys how important it is to know what you're doing when you're doing divination. Okay? Make sure you say your prayers before you divine, and that the divination tool that you're using is connected to the spirit guide that you're trying to talk to. And that you're actually trying to talk to a specific one. Okay? Even if it's just your guardian angel. If you want to learn tarot, and again, going off on a tangent, whatever. If you want to learn tarot, get you a tarot deck, light up a candle, and call on your guardian angel to lead you. That is the safest spirit when you're first starting out to work with. Because it's going to be an elevated spirit. You see what I'm saying? But over time, you'll learn to trust them, and vice versa. And there's going to be times when you'll be told a message, and you'll be told to keep it to yourself. Trust that. It's for a reason. Okay? I hope this helped you guys. I can't stress enough how important communication is, but it's not this complicated thing. It's not this, like, big ordeal. It's just by making the effort to communicate. And also having the courage to ask for help. I can be very prideful, especially in my past. Oh my god. Like, my spirits would offer a helping hand and be like, let us handle it. And I'd be like, no, I can do it by myself. I got it. Don't worry. I don't want to bother y'all with this. And things could have gone a lot better if I had listened to them. So these are just things that you learn over time, and it helps your relationship to blossom. But trust is so important, and there will be times when your trust is tested. I remember those days. Would I ever go back to those days when I was having to develop that trust? No, I would not. I'm not saying it still doesn't happen. My faith gets tested every day. In some way, shape, or form. It can be something really small. It can be something really big. But I still deal with that. And I have to remind myself that I have a spiritual team and that I do trust them. And that they've had my back before, and they'll have my back again. So, if you would like to book a reading with me, especially a spiritual court reading, if you would like to start in a spiritismo, you can click the link in my bio, or go to my website, or DM me here on Instagram. Okay? I love you guys.